This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to DWS View, Stand Up. If we do not stand up for what we believe, who will? Who will stand? Today, I have the privilege of interviewing a lovely, wonderful lady that I met a few months ago, actually seen her longer than that on television with our president and with other angel moms. But Agnes Gibboney is my guest today, and I'm so grateful for the chance for you to meet her and talk. Man, you're in for a treat. That's all I want to say. I'm very excited about this interview. And Agnes, good morning. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. How about you?
I am blessed. I am blessed. I'm just excited to get started with this interview and to hear your story. I've read a lot of your story and I'm excited for the whole world to hear about Agnes. So as we prepare to start this interview, I want to hear about your legal immigration to the United States of America.
Well, I was born in Budapest, Hungary. And after the Soviet Union invaded Hungary, my parents decided to escape in December of 1956. And they got caught because I woke up in the middle of the night crying. And the guards took everything away from my parents, their money, their suitcases, everything, but did not arrest them. So subsequently in January of 57, they went for the border again, this time through a friend of my mother's who worked in a pharmacy, concocted a little something to help me sleep through the journey. And they crossed the border into the former Yugoslavia, where we remained in a refugee camp for about 9 to 10 months, for almost 10 months. And where my little baby brother, Jadranko, was born and also died because they wouldn't allow my mother to go out to seek medical treatment. And my parents' dream was to come to United States because they wanted a better life for us, my brother and myself, to grow up in and to experience freedom. And because my father was born in Yugoslavia, they wanted us to stay. My mother said no. So they said, then you're not going to America either. They gave us three choices of South Africa, Austria, or Brazil. We ended up immigrating to Brazil, where we lived for 13 years. And ironically enough, we arrived in Rio de Janeiro. And in a couple of, my mother had a baby in Rio also, who passed, unfortunately, as an infant less than 3 months old. And then we moved to Brasilia, who was going to be the new capital of Brazil. My father was a skilled cabinet maker, so there was a lot of work there for him. They eventually bought a restaurant. They called it Hungarian restaurant. And there was a coup that took place in Brazil also, with tanks on the streets, and they had to shut down and the whole thing. This is 7 years after they escaped Hungary. So I could just imagine the fear. And all I remember is them saying, do not go to the window, do not go to the window. And I said, why are those tanks? What's that? I didn't know what a tank was. And but it was scary with these military guys with machine guns, but they overthrew the government. So we went back to Rio. My parents have applied at that time twice to come to United States, and the application lapsed. And then the third time we're successful in immigrating to the US. I was 16 when we came here. My first son, my son was born here in the United States, in California, in Long Beach. And he was murdered by a previously deported criminal, illegal alien. So for the past 18 years, that has pretty much taken over my life, everything. And for many years, I didn't know he was an illegal alien. I knew he was from Mexico, but I didn't know he was an illegal alien that had been previously deported, until somebody slipped and said he has an alien number. And I thought, an alien number is a number that's given to legal residents that come to United States. So she gave me the number, and I filled out some paperwork with the federal government for victim notification, which, by the way, that office doesn't exist anymore, as I understand. And his release date would have been June 24 of this year. Actually, his release date was increased to November because he must have acquired some points in prison. And but they kept chopping off 2-3 months at a time, and I kept thinking, it's at this rate they're going to release him on my birthday last year. Thank God he wasn't, but he was released in November. Since August till November, I fought with everything I had to, I contacted everybody in everything, anyone I could, to have this guy deported, actually picked up, because the laws says that if someone is deported and they re-enter our country and they're caught, they can be tried in a federal court and can get up 15-20 years in federal prison, which, why have it in the books if it's not being used? That's my take on it. And so I contacted everybody, and ICE kept telling me they couldn't stake him out. His release date was November 23rd, but a little in parentheses, it could be 1 or 2 days before. And they said they can't sit outside the prison for 3 days waiting for him to come out. And notice November 23rd was a Saturday, when ICE does not go into prisons. So it's a very well organized, concocted plan from the left, from the Democrats, who are harboring the criminals and illegal aliens. And so I fought on November 21st. I had a press conference by Pomona Superior Court where this guy was sentenced. And I just let it out to the world, how I felt. I called out Gavin Newsom, our governor. He's not giving us protection, equal protection to the citizens, but he's protecting illegals and criminals. And where's my protection? Where's my sanctuary? Where's my son's sanctuary? And I was very outraged. So I had numerous, I can't even tell you, like in one day I had 4 interviews, next day I had 5, next day I had 5, and then 4. That whole weekend, whole day, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I had many interviews, which was, if anybody had interviews, very mentally and physically exhausting. Plus I was already emotionally just spent from this ordeal. And that afternoon, I get a call, or late morning, I get a call from ICE saying that ERO, enforcement removal officers, picked him up and put him over the border in El Centro, Mexico. So he got immediately deported. So I felt very satisfied, very happy about that all my efforts paid off.
Amen.
And I got really sick afterwards, emotionally, physically, mentally, psychologically. I got a sore throat, I got a cold, I got body aches. I just had everything you could imagine. So for about 3 days, I just rested. I was good for nothing. I was totally spent. I had nothing to give. And then I came out of it, and I said, okay, what am I gonna do next? I said, maybe I'll start a group for angel moms, angel families, for families who have been affected by illegal alien crime, and help them get their criminal deported when the time comes. Because I couldn't count on all these angel groups out there at all. None of them reached out to me, which is very unfortunate. It speaks a lot about their organization, but that's another topic. And then I thought, well, maybe I can do something more than that. I can run for office. And people kept asking me, why don't I run for office? And I kept saying, I'm not a politician. I don't know how to do this. I'm not a politician. And they said, Agnes, you have been speaking up. You have the fortitude, the intelligence, the common sense, the love for this country. You are the perfect candidate to run for office. And last day, 2 days before the deadline, I said, okay, let's go for it. So we went down to registrar's office. I put my name on the ballot, which California is nothing cheap. It cost me $1,740 to just put my name on the ballot. I did not have a candidate statement because that would have cost me $18,904. And I just about fell off the chair. They had to be paid right there and then, cash or check, and no credit card even. And to make a long story short, I said, okay, let's go do it. Let's do this. I'm going to run for Congress against a liberal Democrat who stands for open borders and illegal aliens, Pete Aguilar, in District 31, the San Bernardino area. So I took the plunge, and very, very stressful I got after I got home. And I thought, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? And I was very scared, and I said, okay, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. I've been through many adversities in my life. I succeeded in all of them. I came out stronger and bigger and better. I can do this. I have a lot to learn, but I can do this. First of all, what it takes to run for office is integrity, dedication, and love for your country, for your freedom, for your First and Second Amendment rights. And I definitely have that. And I thought, I'm gonna give it a try. So.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Agnes. Do you know the man who murdered your son? Did you
No.
know him?
No,
Okay.
I never met him. In fact, I wrote him 2 letters in prison. The second one certified to make sure that he gets it. And not an aggressive letter. I'm not an aggressive person, but just basically asking if he ever thought of his victim, if he ever thought of his victim's children that he separated permanently from their father. Has he ever thought about his mother, me, the grandparents? And I told him, because of you, my only sibling died 4 months later of a massive stroke from the overwhelming stress. And he never had the dignity, the honor, the respect of answering. So it tells me he's nothing more, nothing less than a gangbanger like he was before. And he is just an evil person.
Oh my goodness. So tell us a little bit more about, I know you spoke about running for Congress, and are you out campaigning? I know during COVID, you're not able to go out and campaign. So what are you able to do? How are you able to get the word out about your candidacy?
Well, any help is help. Because of COVID, all my speaking engagements and meet and greets have been canceled, as you can imagine. So fundraising has been very, very difficult when you can't go out there and meet with your constituents. And so that has been a big challenge. I have done a few videos, and I'm very active on Twitter, on Facebook, trying to get the word out, asking people to share my post, donate if you can. Doesn't matter if you donate $20 a month until November. That still help, because it is extremely expensive to run for office, and you got to do signs, you got to do mailers. And I think, what is it, July 13th through August 7th is the deadline to put a candidate statement for the general. So I have to come up with that money. But, it has been a challenge, but not only just for me. I think for every candidate out there, it has been a challenge. But I'm doing everything I can to put my name out there, so anybody out there that wants to support me, you don't have to live in California, you don't have to live in my district. Help turn our state red. Help me get in office so we can have a voice in DC, so we can have a true American loving person representing us, and bringing integrity and honesty and dedication back to the halls of Congress. Because I think Congress has I know there's a lot of hardworking people there, but I am very disappointed. Congress has a very, very low approval rating. I think it's like 30%, if that, approval rating. That's horrible.
Yes, it is. And Congress actually has abandoned their duties to this country.
Yes.
Under the leadership of Nancy Pelosi, our Congress, they're at home. They're not even at work. And we have so many people in this country who are out of work, who are not getting a paycheck. These people are sitting at home where they're supposed to be representing the people of this country. I want to compliment you because you come from a background where your family fought to get here to this country. They fought for years. They didn't give up becoming legally becoming American citizens. So I want to compliment you, compliment your family for standing in there, not just trying to run across this border and not respect the United States of America. And despite what some say, this country is the greatest country in the world. It is the only place as a free beacon. You know, today I was looking at what happened to the people of Hong Kong. Hong Kong, those people were free for a while, but now China is cracking down on Hong Kong, taking away the freedoms of Hong Kong. And I tell you, the American people must wake up and look at this pandemic has been used against the American people. And the same thing could happen here in the United States. All we have to do is look at what's happening with being shut down and all the rules and regulations, all the things that have come against these citizens to take away the rights of our citizens in this country. So I'm just thankful, so thankful for your family, for what you did. And I thank you for taking a stand and running for Congress. That took a lot of courage for you to do that. And
thank you. I am the only angel mom that took the step, that took the leap to run for Congress. And it is a big step, and my family sacrificed a whole lot. My parents, you can imagine, left their home, left their family, their parents, their siblings, their friends, everything they've ever known behind for freedom. And if you look at the Democrat agenda, they're always talking about socialism.
yes.
And people, please, I beg of you, if nothing else, look into socialism. Socialism is a prettier word of communism. Communism suppresses you, takes away your freedom. The government makes you dependent on them. You will not be able to flourish as an independent person under communism because they control everything. You want to know, when I was born, it was against the law to baptize a baby. You would go to prison. Did people hear that? You'd get arrested if you baptize a baby. So my godparents walked through the back of the church with me in their arms, and my parents weren't there. Because 4 people walking in the church with a baby is a dead giveaway, right? So my godparents walked me through the back to be baptized in a Catholic church. And my mother's co-workers gave her their meat vouchers so my mother could buy meat to fix a lunch for my baptism. That's communism, where the government tells you how much you can have and when. You look at all this hard times that we're going through, the rows and rows of empty shelves at the grocery store. That's how socialism is. You have no access to things. And just think about this one for a minute. If socialism was such a great thing, why is everybody fleeing from those countries and nobody's fleeing to those countries?
That is so true. But you know what? Like I said, the American people have not experienced socialism, and they do not understand what the governors are doing, who are holding back people from going back to work, earning a living, and taking care of their families. They don't want a handout from the government. They do not realize that is socialism. It's
Yes.
knocking on the door of these United States, and people do not understand the danger. You understand it because your family came from that whole Ukrainian socialism, communism, Russia. You came from that. So you understand the dangers of it. And I'm just, my goodness, I'm just thankful that you're able to share. And you live in a country where you can share. But you know, even those freedoms as Christians are stifled. Look at the
That's
church.
right.
The church
That's
is
right.
silent today by design.
That's right. And you know, one thing that really hit my ears, and I'm thinking, oh my God, when the governors are saying, if you see something, say something. That's a communist way of doing things. You know
Mhm.
how many people in Hungary disappeared, got arrested, was sent to forced labor camps because their neighbor thought that they were against communism or didn't like because you cut a bush in the front, so they reported you and you went to prison. There was no trial. There was no asking, did you do this? They came, picked you up, and you were gone. And many of them never were seen again. And when I heard that, and I'm thinking, oh my God, honestly, I don't want to put fear in anybody's heart or mind, but I am scared. You
Mm.
see, my matriarch, my mother, my father, and my brother are gone. I cannot go to my mother and say, what do I do? Protect me.
Mm.
I'm on my own. I got to protect now my family from this insanity. And we have to fight for this country. We cannot allow this nonsense of socialism. And Nancy Pelosi ought to be arrested because she's the most angry, evil, manipulative, hateful person, divisive in Congress. She has divided our country so much. She has wasted 3 precious years of our tax millions and millions of dollars on Russian collusion, on impeachment, on all this nonsense. And then she has the nerve to rip up the president's speech at his address in front of the world. This woman should have been in a communist country. She would have been arrested right there and then and put against a wall and shot. You do not go against your country.
Mm. I hope that message resonates to not just Nancy Pelosi, but to all the politicians in Washington, D.C. We have a lot of them who stand with communist China, who stand against our president, and they don't understand. This man is fighting for the freedoms that we hold dear. He is fighting for this country, and too many people don't realize it. That's why we're standing up today and why we're interviewing you today, because you have a story more so than so many others. You've experienced it firsthand. Your family has experienced it. And so you truly understand. And I hope people will listen to your story. And we want to get this word out, Agnes. And let me just, do you have any final words you want to say to us?
I want to thank everyone for listening and ask everyone who loves this country to please support me. Support my cause, because I'm not fighting for me. I'm fighting for all of us. And when I'm elected, you're going to be proud of me because I will be your voice. I will be our voice in DC. And I will bring some logic back and some honesty, integrity back to the halls of Congress. Please visit my page, Agnes Gibboney, that's Agnes, Gibboney, Gibboney for Congress. I'm sorry, agnesgibboney.com. That's my webpage. Volunteer to help, to make phone calls, sign up. And if you can, donate, commit to donate 10, 20, 30, $50 a month, anything you can. Doesn't matter if you live in my district. We're trying to turn California red. And as you know, we need to fight. We need to all stand together and unite to fight for California. Let's make California great again, because
Amen.
California is turning such a socialist state
Yeah.
uh, under the governor Newsom, who offended me to the max. When we have millions of Americans without a job, businesses shut down, businesses that will never open again, and Gavin Newsom is taking our dollars, tax dollars, federal money to give to illegal aliens, those that broke our laws, those that have no right to be in this country. This is a slap in the face of every American citizen. He's importing, I heard just yesterday, he's bringing people with COVID from Mexico into our country. Why should it be our expense? Why should it be our problem? Let everybody deal with their own issues at this time of crisis. We have millions of people without jobs right now. And another thing that really bothers me that people need to pay attention to, the government, Nancy Pelosi, just hands out money, IOUs to everybody, money that we don't have, trillions of dollars in a matter of weeks. People that are still working, that have not been affected by the shutdown, that are still working, maybe their job got cut down just a little bit, are getting unemployment, $600 a week. $600 a week, that's $2,400 a month. Thousands of people are getting this money. Hospitals that admit someone and say they had COVID, they were positive for COVID, they get $13,000 in addition to their medical costs. If they intubate you, they get, I forget if it's
39,000.
39,000. This is insanity, people. This is insanity. The medical has gone over to the left also. Hospitals are out there, I guess, to make money, not to take care of your health. And these elderly people being confined in a nursing home, being sentenced to death. My heart goes out to their families and to those people, because they had no say-so, and they were cross-contaminated and thousands died across the United States. And my heart goes out to them. Please visit my page, agnesgibboney.com. My Twitter is Agnes Gibboney. My Facebook, Agnes Gibboney for Congress. It's just me. Help me fight this battle. I cannot do it alone. I'm counting on you. Let's turn our state to red, and let's make California great again.
Amen. Thank you, Agnes. Thank you so much for coming to this interview. My heart just burned with, oh my God, compassion and love for you, and your love for this country.
Yeah.
My heart just burns with affection for you.
Thank you.
We want to get this word out and do all we can to support you. And I have something I'd like to share with you offline. But I'm just so grateful to you today. And thank you. Thank you for coming. And I hope we can do this again sometime. Now, I want to thank those who are listening to this interview and who are looking and listening. I want to thank you also for taking the time to listen to Agnes and to listen to this interview. You are just making my day, just taking the time to listen. And I want to ask you to subscribe to DWS View. Go to my website and subscribe to this station and support us every week. Support listening to these messages. Each week we'll come out with a wonderful person that we'll interview. And today is Agnes. Thank you, Agnes. And God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Amen.
Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.